Hello everyone, Maryann here, revealing light, tarot, astrology and spirituality. Wherever you're watching in the world, a huge shout out to you. I want to thank you for support of my channel, the likes, the new subscribers, welcome, 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 and your comments and also your gratitude. I was just looking back since the election, the US election, and I just want to say thank you to all those that donated to the channel. I don't expect those donations. I don't expect anything from you other than some courtesy. Some courtesy which you do show me, and to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to. That's all I ask from you, and I get so much more in return. So I do want to say thank you. I, like everybody else, is still I'm still kind of recovering from what happened on in the US election, and I guess it'll take time. And I know there's a point to it. I'm going to be asking why did this happen? Why is the world's order supposedly breaking down? We have a number of developments over the last 48 hours in relation to the world order. We have a right-wing leader in South Korea briefly introduced martial law, and it looks like the parliament very quickly, the South Korean parliament very quickly acted and came together in unity and overturned that martial law. I don't think that prime minister can hang on in South Korea. That was a despicable thing to do, because he thought there in his mind there may have been a coup against him. No, it's a democracy, and the opposition party has every chance, like his party, of winning at the next election. Martial law is not done in a democracy, and it did have lessons for the US. If the incoming president tries to do the same, would the Congress come together and overturn the incoming president's mandate, or not mandate, but the use of troops against American citizens? In France, we have had a vote of no confidence in the French government. It just, every day you wake up and you think, something else, and something else actually does happen. They introduced a vote of no confidence in the French government, and that doesn't, Macron is the president. The no confidence vote was in the prime minister and the Macron's government. So we'll see if Macron can actually hang on. He's really upset the far left, who were responsible for propelling him into power at the last election in order to keep the far right out. So he hasn't held faith with them. So we'll see, if we've got time, what's going to happen there. Syria and Turkey, my goodness, a powder keg. Insurgents have made their way into the royal palace at Aleppo, or the palace at Aleppo. I don't think it's not royal. And Assad's in trouble. Now, Russia is an ally of Assad. So Syria looks like it's going to, all hell's going to break loose there. And Erdogan in Turkey is not backing down. So we'll see if there's an attack on Turkey that then brings, as a NATO member, that then brings in NATO. So the dream that I had of troops running across fields, at any time it feels like we're living on the knife edge of war. And it's ironical indeed that many thought that when the incoming president was elected in November, early November, that his threats and his demeanour and his tough guy stance would lead to peace. And it's actually leading to the opposite. Allies, even his own allies, are backing up and backing away. And we've got China really, what can I say? It sold off 44% of its US Treasury bonds. It bought up US debt. It sold 44%, billions of dollars of debt, sold it, as did Japan, the other second major holder of US debt. We have China withholding precious metals. Now, that happened in 2023, and so the media are spinning it like it's a recent thing. No, it happened last year. And nevertheless, they're withholding these precious metals that are used in all sorts of things, from phones to military equipment. They've now just announced that they won't be buying US grain. And so, you know, the incoming president wanted a trade war. He's going to get a trade war. This is precisely not the time for the kind of way that he does or thinks he can do foreign policy. It's just, you know, the world order is changing. There's been much made of France trading with China in the Chinese currency instead of the American dollar. Again, that was last year. France negotiated a very, a huge trade deal, and agreed to pay China, agreed to trade in the Chinese currency, not the American dollar. So, you know, it's almost like the world has moved on since the incoming president was last in power. And Biden did keep a lid on a lot of these things. Now, let's see what kind of mayhem is unleashed in 2025. And so those who voted who thought that someone as incompetent as him might be able to save the world order will find out just how wrong they are. All right, let's get started. I want to look at why is the world order breaking down. Many reasons for that, but we'll see what my guides and the cards have to say, my clairvoyance. UFOs over Washington. There are reports there's an increased activity of UFOs, and many are putting that together with the chaos around the world and saying, okay, well, what are the ETs? What are the extraterrestrials making of all this? Let's have a look if there were UFO activity over Washington. The Allies' views of the incoming president. My own country voted for a ceasefire, for Israel to get out of Gaza and a ceasefire. That's interesting because that puts them at odds with the US. We have a precarious position in someone as inconsistent and as unstable as the incoming president. Do we want to tie our fortunes to him? Probably not. We do have good relationships around the Pacific, including with Indonesia, Asia, Malaysia, and also China. So let's hope we can keep those good relationships as well as remain reasonably neutral in relation to the incoming president. All leaders will be walking a fine line. You will have heard the incoming president's threats. They were said in a joking manner, threats against Canada becoming the 51st state of the US. I mean, that is just, who would have thought 10 years ago you could treat your major partner, trading partner and ally with such contempt and derision as what they've done to Canada. I'm sorry for my Canadian viewers. It is a form of bullying, whether it's a joke or not. If it makes you feel inferior in any way, if it makes you feel fearful in any way, it's despicable to have come to that. It looks like Hegseth, he's the incoming president's pick for head of the Department of Defence, is not going to come to pass. It's come to light that he not only has alleged sexual assault, but he also has an alleged drinking problem. He sure can pick 'em. Gates, Hegseth. Now, Patel worries me. I looked at that clairvoyantly and I felt eventually that's a no, but it worries me that somehow those GOP senators might change their mind and go, okay, we'll give him this. Well, they'd be foolish to do that because he'll come after them just as much as he'll come after everybody else. The razor-thin majority the GOP holds in the House now. The Democrats were able to flip a key seat in California, and I think it's now 220 to 215. Hasn't been that thin a majority since I think it was 1962, Edward Hoover's day. Anyway, it's going to make it very difficult for them to govern with any kind of sustainability. And Macron, can he hang on, because he is a linchpin in the EU, and if his government falls, what else are we going to have to face? So without much further ado, let's get started with today's reading. Let's look at why is the world order breaking down. Tarot starts, or cards start, at 10:51. So if I can call please my spirit team to me, why is the world order breaking down? Why is the world order breaking down? What can you tell me? Okay, so it is around the timing, but of course it goes in a deeper layer than that. If the timing is now, then there's this question of why now. Okay, so there's been a series of betrayals. I'm just seeing that good leaders have been taken down by literally sort of knives in the back. Wow, I guess you could apply that to many in the past and many the world over. The question is, why have they been taken down? Now, not superficially, but we can say the economy, but it's also like breaking open. It's sort of like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. I know that's a silly metaphor to use. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. It's about leadership, and it's about finding the right leaders at the right time. So as much and all as this is a precarious time where we're seeing a diminishing freedoms, there's also, it's a time for good people, strong leaders to come forward that can inspire people. Now, the tragedy in America is that the leader who is that's just an Apple automated thumbs up. The trouble with America is that the leader that they supposedly chose, is not, he's a con man. He's a con man. And so they're not going to get what they were looking for. And that's going to be a huge, huge lesson and a huge wake-up call for everyone, not just the US. And so people will also be, I'm seeing people like Angela Merkel as well. Now, she's not having a comeback, but they're looking for long-term sustainability, long-term stability, I should say. Someone who is able to deal with anyone from Putin through to the incoming president, and still remain solid. So this is a change of leadership. Temporarily, in the interim, you may get very poor leaders, but in the longer term, you will get very, very good leaders. Unfortunately, it is our time to weather this storm as well. Anything else you want to show me? Okay, many of the leaders that come forward now with bluster, and I'm seeing the incoming president, may well lose their head. And I don't mean that in a violent way. I'm just retelling the images that I'm getting for you. And this could be anything from a cognitive decline to a third assassination attempt. I feel very strongly that around March, April, particularly around March, there is danger that he could be assassinated. It's a time of great mourning around his inauguration. It doesn't mean that he will pass before then, although that's in the realm of possibilities. It means that people are heartsick and will be mourning on his inauguration day. But I do feel that his tenure is very, he may not serve a full term, for example. Many of you have said that, there could be another election called if he doesn't make it to inauguration. No, it does go, according to your constitution. I'll put the link underneath this video in the pinned comments. It does go to the vice president-elect, which would be Vance, and if he doesn't qualify for whatever reason, he gets taken out or he gets sick or he doesn't want, for whatever reason, it then goes to the Congress, and as the Republicans hold the House majority at this time, it's not a do-over of the election, unfortunately. So I want to make that clear. I'll put the pinned comment there. As I said, I'm not going to deal in outlandishness. It's very important. We are facing the reality of the situation we're in. This is not just a US specific thing. This is a world specific thing. This is a world order that is not working anymore. And it's about freedom. People want their freedom. They want freedom from debt. They want freedom from struggling without gain. They want the same, the same as everybody else, and they feel that they're not getting that. Now, as I said, in America, they've chosen a con man, but these people will be very, very quickly outed. And he faces a very volatile and heated electorate coming from the people that didn't vote. Yes, I got that. Many stayed at home. The half of the people who did vote that voted for Harris, and even amongst those that couldn't vote for Harris, didn't want to vote for him but just did anyway. He faces a tremendously volatile electorate, and you're seeing that come forward with the way that his cabinet picks are going down like flies. Okay, so, people have said, where do we have the hope? Well, I guess for Americans, it's the hope in that their country has weathered these storms before and will rise again to become a stable democracy, because there is no other way. The incoming president couldn't even hold an authoritarian country together if his life was depending upon it. Okay, so let's have a look at the global order. Let's go back to the global order, please. The global order. The global order. Global order, wow. Okay, no, there's just, there are higher forces here, and they are gathering behind that White House. So, hold on to your faith. Refusal, dream thief. Refusal of the call. Dream thief, refusal of the call. I think we are all called at this time to play our part. I've talked about that a lot. Show me why. Why is the global order breaking down at this time? Why is the global order? It's greed. Opportunity. There is opportunity within this. I talked a lot about as much and all as the time where temporarily very poor leadership comes forward, also good leadership comes forward as well. Winter's Dream, a gestation period. These cards are very much associated with the crown chakra in their colour. Winter's Dream, a gestation period. And then we get mindful groupthink. Absolutely. This is the time where the collective comes into its own. And we get Moon Maiden, New Beginnings. So I know that we can't see what's ahead of us. But even if we were to use logic, we would know that chaos can't last. Chaos eventually gives way to order. And we get completion. new beginnings and completion of new beginnings. And that's exactly what Pluto into Aquarius is all about. We had to finish off the legacy of the past. The past is not so easily overturned without this mindful group think. And so it will take all of us, each and every one of us. So, yeah, as I've said before, rest or do whatever you need to do. But ultimately, it's up to us to move things forward. Now, at the same time, there's a lot of healing taking place, and this is repairing the mind, body, and spirit. This is a significant time at the individual and at the group level. Overwhelm and plenty. As I said, the world order is not working for many of us. It's working for the top echelons. It's a lot about greed. It's a lot about the gilded gold throne the oligarchy sit upon, but it's not working for the rest of us, the collective. Movement toward adventure, so we get Spirit of the River. Okay, so it is a time of why was this happening? And it's happening because the world order no longer is working for us. What do we need to know? Will there become a new order? Will we be okay? Okay, so we have here skywriting the fates. Okay, so this is a fated time. Foundational change and the eyes of the eagle. Because I saw an eagle when I first started the reading, or when I first opened up for the reading. And that is rising above the fray and looking. The challenge is upon all of us to look harder and see more. Not just to take things at face value, but to go that step further. Rest and renewal as well, the Garden of Venus. So this is a time, Mars moving retrograde shortly in December. You would be wise to take some time out in December and January, because I think as 2025 starts to begin, we're going to need all of our energy, all of our effort. All right, let's see. Let's look at the UFOs. Okay, so the UFOs over Washington. Officially, I think it was Nancy Mace, is it? Headed a committee and said that it was just reflection of lights. Didn't look like that, actually, to me. Show me the Tower card is what I'm seeing. And so there's a great restructuring of the world order going on now. And if there was a time that they would visit, that they would virtually like sentinels be there, then it would be now. Okay, so what were these extraterrestrials? Were these UFOs? Were these UFOs? I'm getting lions coming from the stars. Lions. Why lions? Well, there's bravery, there's strength. There's a strength in watchfulness. Okay, so it's like a guard. It's like there's guards there. Now, many of you have said, oh, well, if nuclear war started, would the extraterrestrials save us? I don't subscribe. I'm not seeing that. They didn't save Japan, did they? All right, so, well then why are they here? Okay, it's a connection. They're making connections with people. So it's like a light bridge. If you haven't seen my Edgar Casey channeling, where a light being came across the light bridge to him. It's like that. They are communicating with certain people here in a way to strengthen them through this period of change. Okay, All right, let's look at the Allies' view. Canada, of course, I can imagine Canadians would be absolutely furious today. The tariffs are going to be a nightmare for the Americans and for everyone. The trade wars are going to be at a time of such unrest here. So we get disappointment, but there is one cup remaining. And of course, what's that one cup? Every country has their own agency, their own ability to create trade agreements with other countries, to bargain at the table with existing trade partners. Don't sell the power short that you actually have to a person who yells and to an empty room, basically. So how do the Allies, they're each, oh my goodness, they're each taking their own action. Sorry about that noise. How do the Allies view the incoming president? Spotlight, there's a spotlight there. How do the Allies, they're doing their own intelligence. Okay, so unstable, perhaps not a government that might even collapse. It's unstable. They have to make certain decisions as well about their own countries and their future. It's inevitable that they will make decisions to suit their own stability, their own region, even their own group or their own network of allies. So rather than the US calling the shots from up here, countries are going to broaden their relationships with their allies now and with new allies in order to, I'm not going to say push the incoming president out, but there will be less reliance on, I'm just going to say on America as a result, because they perceive him as unstable. They see him as the order breaking down. It's an inevitability. There are hard decisions for every country in this matter. The Page of Cups, again, can be surprises. You could be surprised. The French did a huge deal with China in their own currency. We have the rise of BRICS. Allies are shifting, some to other allies, some to their own network of allies. The UK said that they will not abandon the EU for America. Thank you, Keir Starmer, for Trump, I should say, for the incoming president, not for America. I should be clear that this isn't the American people. We are sorry that you have to go through this, but they won't be, I'm just going to say, rolling over for the incoming president. We get the Hanged Man in the past, so pausing. There's some things that have been stopped. As soon as they found out that he was elected or supposedly elected, they stopped. They suspended things. I'm not sure. That could be anything from intelligence gathering to... Each country will act in their own best interests. Now, betrayal, loss, divorce, as I said, this is a shifting scenario, and holding back, insecurity, feeling insecure, but also holding back, and can be standing their ground. It's a crossroads. The world order is at a crossroads. And we have the Nine of Swords, a lot of anxiety. Having worked in government, the briefings would be coming fast and furious with my own government as we look at innovative ways to move beyond this, to strengthen our own interests. We have the Two of Cups in the hopes and fears, deals and contracts. Many are fearing that the existing deals and trade contracts will not be upheld. And the Knight of Cups. Okay, so you're going to get people on the surface. I know Macron invited him to the opening of Notre Dame. Trudeau went down to Mar-a-Lago. It's almost like Biden's term has ended, and it hasn't. His term, according to the Constitution, finishes on January the what is it, January, the inauguration day. And so you're getting people going down and doing visually what they have to do. But beyond that, there's another plan. So we get the Seven of Pentacles. Everyone knows they've got to come up with new plans. And then we get the devil energy. It's going to be hard for allies, but this again also is part of the change in the world order. And it's a change that ultimately should benefit everybody. The Hermit card, isolation, they're prepared for that. They're prepared to go forward in a different way. The past and the King of Pentacles, they already know who and what he is. We get the moon, the volatility, and we get the Tower. And so each and every country is now preparing for what they see as a very unstable time in the US. Okay, all right, so that's basically the world order. It's going to be rocky, but what can we say? So can we learn? Can we learn from this? Will we come through it stronger, with better leaders, more equitable societies, less concentration of, oligarchy and power? It's a real show. It's going to be a real show in terms of showing everybody the worst result of what happens when order breaks down. Okay, so can we come through this? Can we come through this? Yes, we can. It's a narrow passage that we have to traverse, but we are going to do it, and there is a way out of the canyon. So if you can imagine that we're all in the canyon right now, but it's our movement forward that will bring us out of the canyon. So can we move forward, please? So we get here, okay, so lots of tug-of-wars, partisanship, and the Hermit, feeling like it's a dark night of the soul. And so they're the signifier cards, but we do get the Wheel of Fortune. They look a little bit like the oligarchy, the incoming president and top of the pile, but there is change, as I said, change ahead from him. We get the Death card in the past, okay, the end of the world order as we know it. We get new starts. Okay, so in every ending there is a new beginning. I know it sounds trite, but that's how things flow. Okay, we get the Seven of Cups, the illusion and delusion. Yeah, it's a little bit like Rome. Pausing, looking at things a different way. It's an inevitability. Two very karmic cards. Right now is a very karmic time, and so we have to rise for that time. The Page of Cups, there's going to be a lot of, sudden, unexpected things that will surprise us. Don't think that you're going to know what is going to happen in terms of him, doing the worst or getting his worst picks through, or being allowed to put soldiers on the streets, or being allowed to go after people for no good cause. Don't assume that he gets his way, because he doesn't. There is huge resistance, standing firm. And this is a time also when economies will be buffeted, so save and budget all you can, because it is a crossroads time. And then we get a reunion and a coming back together in time, and we move forward, albeit cut down a little bit for our experiences, but nevertheless we move forward again. And we get the world. This is not just the US, this is all of us. We're all in this together. And if I look back on my reading just before the election, I got the World card in the outcome. And so And so now we see just what the US election meant, and just what sort of a time we're in. The World card is at the end of the major arcana. It signifies the ending of a cycle. And then after, and that's why the death card keeps coming up as well, among other things, for the incoming president. But out of disorder comes order. Out of endings comes the new beginnings. Only this time, I'll leave you with the T.S. Eliot quote, we shall not cease from expiration until we reach the beginning again and know that place for the first time. And so as a reader, I know that place. I know that place. And it's not unlike any of the major traumas and battles we've been through in our lives. Now, on that, I do want to thank people for the gifts they sent through. I had a lovely a lady named Tammy crochet this absolutely beautiful blanket for me. And so it will go on the end of my bed, Tammy, and I will be very grateful for that blanket in winter when it gets very cold in the climate that I live in. Okay, so just rounding up, can Macron hold on? Can Macron hold on? Ooh, he's under a lot of fire. It's like they're coming at him from all sides. Wow, he's got the opening of Notre Dame. What was the saying? Macron could deliver Notre Dame to the French and they wouldn't. It's not enough. Okay, so can Macron hold on? It's tumultuous. Ooh. But something coming to fruition in time, and we get the Three of Wands and victory. Ooh, judgment, and there's an inevitability here. The Ace of Cups, overflowing emotion. They've certainly paused the government. Let's just get a clarification on these cards. So someone's emerging the winner. Is this Macron? He's currently in a lot of trouble. Can Macron hold on? Show me these cards. Something patient, 2 weeks. The French people. And then we get abuse of power. They really are not happy with him. And there we go. Look, he may not. The High Priestess. There's something that we don't know about. And there's some kind of plan that the other political parties have up their sleeve. I'm not going to say he's definitely going because he's won in the past and there's that victory card there, but he's in a world of hurt, a world of political vulnerability right now, and I don't want to underscore that. It's quite the images are quite shocking, you know. March through the streets, that kind of thing. Okay, Hegseth, I didn't think he was going to get through. Ron DeSantis looks like he is a cabinet pick now for the defence. I mean, he's a kind of a lightweight. I know what he's done in Florida, but he's failed a lot as well. So will Pete Hegseth get through? I'm getting the judgment card. An inevitability of change. So I'm going to say they are going to change. He's going to change. I don't know who to, but I don't think it will be Hegseth. Kash Patel really bothers me. I'll do a reading on that a bit later on. I don't want this to be too long. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye for now.